You'll find speed cameras on many of the country's roads, and increasingly there are average speed camera systems which can help to reduce speeding across neighbourhoods rather than just at a single site. We went to Bedford to find out more about why they use average speed cameras and what the local residents think.
Reducing speed limits in residential and urban settings is one of the most effective and economical ways to make streets safer and more pleasant. Recent changes in government regulations mean it's easier for local authorities to implement those speed limit changes. Here in Bedford, setting speed limits is a key part of Bedford Borough Council's local transport plan. But it's sometimes not enough to hope drivers will pay attention and slow down, and that's when average speed cameras may have a part to play. Charles Royden is the council portfolio holder for highways, transport and environment.
Average speed cameras are really, really important for our residents. They're crying out for them across the borough, and we're trying to install as many as we can and finding dramatic results, very positive results in terms of reducing road speeds, reducing casualties, keeping everybody safe. In this road, if you'd been here a couple of years ago, you'd have seen traffic going exceptionally fast. We'd have had lots of complaints from residents about the speeds of the traffic. Now we have none. The speeds have just dramatically reduced, so you won't see people on this road speeding hardly at all. And they know that that's because if they do transgress the speed limits, they're going to have a fine. So people observe them very, very well. And so that now I've got people all over Bedford Borough crying out for average speed cameras. We can't introduce them quickly enough. It's because of public pressure that we're having to do them as often as we are. And we'll continue to do so because we know how important it is for our residents.
Alan Burles is Principal Project Engineer at the council. So what were the specific issues at this location?
Pole Hill Avenue's a very wide road for a 30-mile interurban road. You can see that it's not just a simple single-lane road. We've obviously got some large central hatch for turning islands and that sort of thing. What that means when you combine that with wide verges and houses that are set quite far back is, from a driver's perspective, it would be quite easy to forget that you're in a 30-mile-an-hour limit.
Across Bedford, there's clear information and encouragement for drivers to slow down. And if that doesn't work, then the average speed cameras are there to reinforce the message. Jeff Collins of Yanoptic explains the importance of understanding, first of all, if there is a speeding problem, and secondly, what's causing it.
I think the very most important thing is to understand what is the issue that you're looking to address. Is there a problem, and how do you want to address it so that it will give the best overall outcome? So, for example, if you have a road where there are no casualties, there are no collisions, there isn't a perceived speed problem, you're not going to get any benefit. You can't reduce a problem which doesn't exist to start with. However, it's useful to understand what are the factors behind problems if they do exist. So it's not just about putting a piece of metal at the side of the road. It's understanding what the traffic flows are, what type of vehicles are, what the conditions are at different times of day. And in many cases, it may be that by putting up an approach like average speed cameras, you can improve that.
The council invests because that's what the residents want. So let's find out how a few people on Pole Hill Avenue feel about the cameras and about road safety in general.
Certainly with the speed cameras, I think people are more conscious, and certainly if they get a speed ticket, they will certainly think twice, I would have thought, before doing it again. And there's so many children around, you've got to be so careful with them anyway. They do run in the road.
I think the cameras here have made quite a good effect, that people did used to go much faster, but the cameras are taking effect with speeding here.
I am a pedestrian, I don't drive myself. Crossing busy roads obviously is probably more places than others, but I do believe that the speed limit of 20 miles an hour or even 30 miles an hour needs to be enforced.
On Pole Hill Avenue at least, the cameras are there to assist in creating a calmer, safer environment, and they appear to be doing a good job, as Alan Burles points out.
You can just see the way that the traffic is behaving. It feels very calm. There's just a nice general atmosphere. Everyone's sort of abiding to the speed limit now. We've had cyclists go past, people walking, and it just feels like a very nice, serene atmosphere.